Hey, enjoy my presence if you don't mind. Enjoy my company. If you can see the background looks quite natural. I like to be here for today. I was just taking a walk. I say, let me just talk to you for a minute. Let me ask you a question. Do you like what you see? Do you believe what you see? That's my question. Do you believe what you see? Do you believe what you hear? Do you believe what you taste? Do you believe everything that is passing by your life or by you in your screen, in your life? Do you believe all that? Does it make sense to you? Do you think it's manipulated? Do you think facts are facts? Do you like to know the truth? You know, I'm just asking these questions as a way to introduce myself. Joel Chessman again with your episode here, number 55. I believe we've been journeying together thus far and we've come a long way. So sometimes I ask these questions of the five senses. Do you trust your five senses? Do you trust where you stand that you are grounded on some truth? What is the truth? Somebody one time asked, flippantly or begrudgingly, what is the truth? Do we care about the truth? That's the question of the day. Anyway, because the AI is in the horizon manipulating things and facts are becoming infactual, fact-finding, fact-checking. That's what we do every day. So that when I say something here, I ask the question, don't take me by the face value of what I say, because I might be saying Joel's opinion. What is your opinion? That's why you have the comments at the bottom. You have subscribe at the bottom. You have the like at the bottom. And you have share the truth if that is the truth that you get excited about. Anyway, enough of that introduction. Because I got some good stuff to share in the athletic world. Because I think athletics is an open game. It could be sometimes manipulated by doping or by some people just trying to steal the show. But I hope I'm not doing that when I talk to you. I hope I'm giving you authentic narrative from the athletic world. We were in Copenhagen on Sunday for half marathon in the land of Wilson Kipketer. You know who Wilson Kipketer is? Don't worry about it, because I'll tell you, he's my hero, he's my friend. I've hung out with this guy. I think in his first race when he was in 1995, I remember exactly where. We were we were in Finland. That was my second year in Finland. No, my third year in Finland. And he asked me to pace him in 800 meters in a race in Lapinlanta. So you can go Google Lapinlanta. Is it Lapinlanta? Yeah. No? I'll get back with you on that one. Fact check the facts. Anyway, Wilson Kipketer is still the world record holder indoor 800 meters. Is the fastest and nobody has even come close. 142.68. That is quick indoor. Indoor is a small track, 200 meters. You go 4 laps for 800. It's not 2 laps like outside. Wilson Kipketer is still the man to beat indoor. His record of 141.11 was broken by David Rudisha in London. David Rudisha took that crown from him. All right? Why am I talking about Wilson Kipketer? Because the half marathon yesterday was in Copenhagen, the capital of Denmark. Was he hosting it? Was he the guy introducing people to the crowd? I don't know. But I have a sense Wilson Kipketer was there. I wish I was there too. But anyway, half marathon was there and we had a good show for Kenyans. Domination, top 10 was all Kenyan for men and women. It was so dominant. The winning time was 57, half marathon. The winner was Sebastian Sawe. I think he was followed by Kiplimo, who was a world champion or world record holder. And I think that category for men was predominant for Kenyans. My sense is that Kenyans love racing on the road. And you'll notice this as we move forward, coming from track and field. We are moving into road races, half marathon. Boston is coming up, New York is coming up. We'll get a little bit of a sense of that. I think that's where the money is. I think they pay them well. Track and field has not been as lucrative. It hasn't been as, it doesn't give Kenyans that leverage. I think you'll notice that this idea of that they're dominating half marathon I think the other day I shared with you the North road race that was won by Mary Ngugi. You can sense that there's a little bit of a shift. We are shifting from track, we're shifting to the road. This is the season, so we'll have cross country, marathons, half marathons. Sebastian Sawe wins it. But the news is not Sebastian Sawe from Kenya winning. The news is the Jacob Engbersten. He made an attempt in that half marathon. He doesn't do very well. He does so well and breaks the 10K in that event. So he pretty much maxed out at 10K. He ran at 27, I think, which is a record for Norway right now. He did finish, but he went 63 compared to 57. But it's the news. That's what happens when you have a big name like him. Jacob Engbersten was in that Copenhagen half marathon. And he's the news because he's the boy to watch. He's the brand in track and field. And he might turn into a good half marathon guy. He might turn into a marathon. We don't know what his next phase in running is. But yes, he was there. I think Arigawi, the Ethiopian, was a pacemaker. So this guy went from Brussels and they quickly switched to road race in half marathon here. So I think he's versatile. Like I've told you, I like to watch this guy. I like to see success. I think he's the face of running. He's the guy people want to talk about. He's the guy that people want to say, hey, what is he doing? He's controversial in what he says, not in what he does. He could be controversial when he races, but you know, when you're winning, you make the news headlines, and when you have a character like him, he makes the news. He makes the news in track and field. I think he wasn't even top 10. So you could say he was irrelevant, but Jacob Engbersten is never irrelevant. Wherever he shows up, cameras are following, pundits are following, newspapers are following where he is. So Sawe wins. Mr. Sebastian Sawe wins from Kiblimo. And then the women, on the women's side, I think we had, what's her name? We have Kipkemoy, Judy. Is it Judy? Yeah, I think she won. I think that again in the women's section, the women dominated. The Kenyan women dominated the top 10. I think there was a Norwegian who snuck in the top 10. And that was for the half marathon in Copenhagen. Margaret Kipkemoy and Judy Kimboy. I'm not related. Just because it's Kimboy doesn't mean I'm related to them. So don't get too excited about this Kimboy. Kimboy is a very common name in Kenya. I think it's like Johnson in the Western world. I don't know. But anyway, Margaret Kipkemoy and Judy Kimboy were the top two. And I think they're the Kenyans. Viola, I saw Viola. I saw a lot of Kenyans, just the top 10. All the money, if I may say, if the money was at the top cream, Kenyans did very good in half marathon. The winning time for the women was like 60 something. I'm talking of 1 hour plus. I think the men were under an hour. 57 was the winning time. So it's 57 minutes. That was Copenhagen for you, the half marathon. Again, it's a delight to share with you that. It was a good race for Kenyans. I think now we are migrating from track and field. As I say, we are migrating into cross country. We are migrating to road races and marathons and all that. Again, I'm just giving you a small news if you're interested in that. That the shift is that Kenyans are shifting into road races where money is, because, like you say, Eliud Kipchoge, the legend, has set the standard for marathon. And all the Kenyans, we always follow where the gold is. If that is the gold, where the money is, Kenyans will chase that money. We have that tendency. We are not very diverse. We're not very versatile. That sometimes can be a problem in Kenya. We don't know how to invest in different places. We tend to, if it's road races, like I saw in Copenhagen, when you have too many Kenyans, in my experience when I was in Europe, it dilutes. It dilutes the package. In other words, it's too much in the mix, and the organizers tend to underpay them. I'm just giving you an insight that because there's too much blackness, if I may drop the word black here, or Kenyans, the market is kind of lowered. And the one thing I'll just be very upfront about it, it's never good for Kenyans as athletes. So that if you have to have an incredible talent to have that top money. So when you have too many Kenyans in the race, I'll just tell you right now, it's never good for when it comes to payment. Organizers tend to see it as, too many Kenyans, so they try to give something to the locals or some other nations. And it's something that is dictated by the Western world. They want to I remember in my time when we went to a race, even Kenyans sometimes backstab, so that when they call a race and there are many Kenyans, another Kenyan will come by and say, I'm willing to take less. I'm not making these things up. Some Kenyans are willing to take less because maybe they are desperate to get in, they are desperate to be paid, they are desperate to get money. I'm just giving you an insight so you're aware that the market, when it's saturated by a certain nationality, is never good for that nationality. They'll underpay them. They have kind of to spread that money, so to speak, and it's never good. It's a perspective I'm aware of in the 90s when I was running in Europe. It was some of those things. I remember one race my manager had me in, and somebody, I will not mention names here, called behind my back. And he got paid less, and I never got into the race. Sometimes those are the crimes that you see around the world. I call it criminality, but it's what we call backstabbing, going around somebody's back and doing certain things that are undermining to the whole idea of getting a better payday. Sometimes some people do that in employment, where somebody say, I'm willing to take less. How much is he making or is she making? Then they kind of play around that payment scale. It's never good. It happens in athletics. I didn't want to share this part, but I have to share it because I'm an insider sometimes. I'm very in touch with some of these things, how they play out. Because some of these guys have no contract, so they go to what is there. They have to take some cash home. They've come a long way. Managers are fighting managers. And that's why either you have monopoly or you have too many managers and they fight for that pay. It's the world we live in, my friend. It's a perspective for me. And again, as I told you, do you believe what you just heard? Do you believe what you just see? Is that me? Okay, that is just what I'm saying. Never fall for the hyperbole. That is the thought of the day on this episode of Pendola Riada, my man. Look at that nature, man. This is where healing of the soul is. It's about 2 minutes away from where I live. And I think my wife just said, hello, honey, when are you home? See you later, amigos. It's been lovely, and it's love from this perspective. And I think my jacket is like, you're home. I belong in the jungle. Adios, amigos.